true when they saw off your feet. Oh, I must say it went pretty good. Well, I am glad I stayed on a farm. I am glad I stayed on a farm. I like the cattle. The cattle were wonderful. It's just like part of the family. I had 2 cows that got to be 20 years old. I had a calf at 20. Hard to believe, but I can't believe myself. Don't hear that nowadays. It was so different than now. Um, you had a hired man and a hired girl. Um, well, I started milking as soon as I could. Didn't fall off the milk stool. We didn't. It never was so big, not like now. When I went to high school, we had 13 cows, a bull, 2 horses, and 110 chickens. That's about the way we grew all the time. And well, I'm glad I grew up on a farm rather than growing up in the city. There's all you can do is sell papers, or you can't. There's not much to do in the city. But here, when we got home from school, my mother had a little lunch for me, and the work was waiting for me in the barn. Throw down hay, throw down straw, and that was about the way it was. Oh, it's so different. We went to church. We had an upbringing. When we went 10 minutes to 8, I don't care if it's sleeting, raining, snowing, or whatever, we went to church. The nun was ahead of us. We went to church. And then about 8:45, then we started. I don't know what the first thing, I guess the first thing was religion, usually. I don't know if it was every day. And we prayed. We prayed before we started class. We prayed at a 10 o'clock before we went to the 10 o'clock recess. We prayed before the 12 o'clock noon, and we prayed at 1 o'clock when we started the afternoon class. And before we went home, we prayed. And the priest used to come on Tuesday and Thursday. We had catechism and Bible history. And when he'd come in, everybody, praise be to Jesus Christ, good morning, Father. I'll never forget it. I didn't want to leave my dad. I didn't want to leave my dad. It was a good decision that I made. Because, the war was coming. They had to go in 41. Well, the war came in 41. In 45, well, we were deferred. Just very lucky. Oh, a lot of fellas told me, whatever you do, don't go into this army. I was just very lucky, yeah. All my classmates, they all went in the army. It went by units. We had to have 24. That's a lot of cows, and we milked by hand here. We had to have 24 cows. It wasn't too bad, but it was bad enough. I was there 26 years with my mother and dad. Then when she died, I was 20 years with my dad. And then when my dad died, well, now it's almost 35 years, and I'm still farming. We always had cattle. When my dad died, I had 23 cows. The most I ever had alone, I guess, was with the calves was 34. That was the most. Yeah. My mother was laid out here. That was in 19. In 1898, that was big style, the bay window. That's why they put different clapboards on in the bay window, and that's the way it is. You see, that's 1946. About there was 2 nights here, the 7th and 8th of April. Yeah, right here. Yeah. Quite a while ago. It's 55 years ago. Yeah, we made, the last year of my dad, we made 29.5 loads with the hay loader. I did all the loading and the unloading. I threw it in, a couple of bundles, and I spread it, and I put some more in. But I had a Ford tractor. I bought that Ford tractor in 65 in April, and he drove the Ford tractor, and We hauled 20, but we weren't done. Then the neighbors helped us. They made some hay for half, and they chopped some of it. Yeah, that was that's the way we. That was the last year my dad was there. That was about. Well, he drove a car here the 23rd of October. That was in 60, 65. Like the cattle. The cattle were wonderful. It's just like part of the family. I don't know how to explain it. You know, you maybe just don't care or something like that. I was there till Eddie Hoy came and got me out. That was around 17th of February in 70 in 94. Well, then we walked outside and had a wait. I could walk. Everything was fine. I never thought about frostbite or freezing. Never. Well, it wasn't that cold that day. I don't know. I should have had a good fire going and washed my feet and washed my feet. I had no idea this was ahead of me. Never. We had colder weathers, seasons 62 and 63. Those were the most terrible I ever came across. Then they wasn't satisfied with my clothes. They took my, I was going, they had the water in the bathtub about this high. I was just going to put it in. Eddie Olekin, no, they took my clothes off. I gotta go to the hospital. I said, I don't want to go to the hospital. I can't afford no hospital. Well, Fungi was down here that time. We used his car, and there was snow, quite a bit of snow. I guess Fungi got stuck a little bit. And then, it dragged around in that hospital. That was the 17th of February. I remember one time they took a camera, they took a picture of my chest. And then, I don't know, it went along. Must have been before the 22nd or 23rd of February. They took me down. There was a tub of water. In 20 minutes, I could see my feet. But I felt it. It wasn't warm. That water wasn't warm. I wonder what the idea was. 20 minutes, one day, 3 days in a row. I wiggled my feet. Everything was nice. By golly, it got to be the 22nd of February. Out of the clear blue, right in my face. We got to take off a couple of toes. That nurse, I asked her, do they still use ether? She says, no, they don't use ether. Well, then, I don't know what happened. And the doctor said, we got to have another operation. They didn't say what they're going to do, but when I got back for the other operation, everything is bandaged and they cut it. It's cut off right here.